Hello, good afternoon, and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the very first episode of our webinar series brought to you by AXA Hospitality Finance Consultants. Today, we are live from a very sunny Dubai with a rich panel of experts who will talk us through today's topic, implications of NFTs, that is non-fungible tokens, for the hospitality industry. Although it's a very vast topic, but we'll try our best to pack it within 1 hour. And therefore, the session will last until 5 p.m. UAE time. A little bit about myself. I'm Rabia Shaukat, and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. I'm the founder and managing director of AXA Hospitality Finance Consultants. AXA is a Dubai-based full-service niche hospitality financial consulting firm that provides advisory services to various hospitality businesses. We work with owners and operators of hotels and residences, food and beverage industry, travel and tourism, as well as recreation adventure concepts. Our areas of specialization are corporate and hospitality finance, asset management and owner rep services, hospitality consulting, pre-opening services, as well as learning and development. Joining with me today is a very rich panel of experts from the fields of hospitality, crypto, NFT, fintech, as well as robotics and artificial intelligence. I would now like to request our panelists to give a brief introduction about themselves and their company. In the order of left to right, we'll start with Stuart Burkwood.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stuart Burkwood. I am the current curator or general manager, as would be better known, of the Radisson Red Silicon Oasis here in Dubai. We opened in 2020, just pre-COVID, and we're a mixed-use development of hotel, apartments, F&B venues, and indoor and outdoor meeting and event facilities for up to 2,000 people. I've been with Radisson for the last 3 years, and before that was with Starwood or Marriott for up to 25 years, and been in the Middle East for the last 14. Main role for me is to drive awareness of the Radisson Red brand, which is still a relatively new brand in the hospitality market, especially in the Middle East, and to drive awareness of Dubai Silicon Oasis and Dubai Digital Park, which we are a part of, as we are an owned asset of Dubai Silicon Oasis Free Zone Authority. And it's great to be on the webinar. Rabia, thank you very much for the invite, and I'm looking forward to an interesting hour.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Johnny Coombs, and I'm co-founder of Abu Crypto, which is an NFT-based project based here in the Middle East. We founded Abu Crypto about 6 months ago with a group of friends, which we have now turned an NFT initial project into a business. We have a number of partners across Dubai and Abu Dhabi. We're based in Abu Dhabi. We've worked with Stuart on a number of different of our live events and our projects related to Abu Crypto and the awareness. A bit of background on myself. I've been invested in crypto personally and run a number of funds for friends and family since early 2015. I've rode a lot of waves on cryptocurrency, came across NFTs and had a look at them as a personal investor, decided it was a really interesting wave, and decided to create a project myself. That's led to lots of different opportunities to work with some fantastic people across the UAE, and I look forward to sharing some of those ventures that we've had over the last sort of calendar year with you all today. Thank you.
My name is Syed Ashish Zaman. I'm a chartered accountant by profession. I'm a chartered accountant from Pakistan and England and Wales, and CISA certified information system auditor from USA. Then in 2018, I saw that there is something called Bitcoin, and I was trying to understand that one. So that time I get registered for the blockchain course from Oxford University. Then I did a course in fintech and artificial intelligence. Then I incorporated a company called Alif Technologies back in Dubai. And then we incorporated a company, same Alif Technologies, in Canada also. We are doing in 3 dimensions things we are doing is that we are doing providing education and training. We did some 8 webinars, training webinar with the Central Bank of Pakistan also, and with the Labwan authorities in Malaysia. And then we recently, our associate have launched the first Islamic DeFi coin called the Maraba DeFi. And then we are developing some, doing some development projects in fintech and artificial intelligence. That's all about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Asif. Last but not the least, we have Srijit Chakrabarti with us.
Hello all, my name is Srijit Chakrabarti and I am the director for AI and robotics at GEMS Dubai American Academy, which is the flagship school for GEMS education. And what I deal with is creation of or research and development of future-focused technologies, be it blockchain, robotics, AI, cryptocurrency, cybersecurity, and create educational relevance around it. So we have started something called as the Center of Excellence in AI, and being the only school in the world right now in the K-12 segment to have subjects like AI, self-driving car, blockchain, crypto, NFT as subjects being taught to students. We also help our students and our teachers get introduced to these future-focused technologies in a more practical manner. In that sense, we are working right now on creating the first metaverse school, and also we are working on our students creating their own crypto coins. But yeah, overall, our goal is to bridge the gap between K-12 and higher education and give our students the access to all these future-focused emerging technologies.
All right, wonderful. Thank you everyone for sharing your introduction. Before we kick off the panel discussion, let me give you a bit of a background and context for today's topic. Are you all able to see me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So why are we having the discussion for today? If you've been in the business or the corporate world, it is highly unlikely of not having come across the term NFT in the recent times. Although NFTs have been around for some time, but it gained massive popularity in the year 2021. In the year 2021, almost $25 billion were spent in NFT. Last year in April, a digital club called Bored Apes launched its monkey-based avatars in the form of 10,000 NFTs. These NFTs gained popularity and traction very quickly, and in about a year's time, it reached the record high floor price of more than $400,000. Now, if we zoom into the hotel industry, later in August 2021, we heard about a hotel in Italy that celebrated its hotel opening by auctioning its first room night via NFT on the OpenSea platform. Later in December 2021, Marriott made headlines when its loyalty and rewards program, Marriott Bonvoy, announced the launch of its 3 travel-inspired NFTs. Zooming in further into the Middle Eastern region, Radisson Red Dubai, which is a standalone property within Radisson Hotel Group, announced the launch of its pilot project whereby it listed its initial NFTs on the OpenSea platform in collaboration with the Abu Dhabi-based Abu Crypto. And today we have the honor of Stuart from Radisson and Johnny from Abu Crypto, who will share with us their insights later. And last but not the least, very recently, until last month in April 2022, Moonbirds made the headlines, which were owl-based avatars launched by a media startup. In just about a week's time of its launch, it reached the record high floor price of almost $1 million. So with all this commotion and noise in the NFT space in the recent times, one might wonder, what is the NFT frenzy all about? Is it real? Does it really hold the future? Having said that, we have seen in the current month of May that there has been some decline in the crypto and NFT market, and the prices have been crashing. Does it mean that we were in the bubble all this time? Is it a fad? And if it was really to be successful, then what are the opportunities for the hospitality industry here? an industry that sits at the core of innovation and technology. And most importantly, before anything else, what is NFT itself? I'm sure most of us are still perplexed and doubtful about the idea of NFT, including myself. Today, with our panel of experts, we'll decode some of these questions, confusions, and issues around the NFT ecosystem. We'll later take a deep dive to understand from our hospitality professionals that what is the relevance of NFTs in the hospitality industry. And if hotels were to sell their room nights, or if restaurants were to accept businesses via NFT, how would the money flow from the NFT marketplace to the bank account of hotels? And then if NFTs were to eventually become the ultimate thing, could it potentially displace the OTA business? And lastly, we'll have a quick look at the accounting and regulatory framework around NFTs, as Dubai recently launched its new law regulating virtual assets by setting up a new regulator for virtual assets. And last but not the least, in the end, we'll take your questions for the panelists. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box during the webinar, which we will address during the end of the webinar. So without any further delay, let's start the discussion. I'll start with Srijit first. So Srijit, if you can explain us in very simple lay terms that what is an NFT and what is the entire ecosystem around it?
Sure. To understand what an NFT is, we need to understand what the words NFT stand for and what do they mean. NFT stands for non-fungible token. And to put it in a very layman terms, fungible is basically anything is fungible if it is interchangeable or exchangeable. To give an example, money, any kind of currency, be it a normal currency or a cryptocurrency even, they're all fungible assets. They can be interchanged for each other. For example, if I have a $10 note and my friend has a $10 note, we can exchange them for each other. It doesn't matter if my $10 is fresh and crisp and his $10 is soiled and dirty, they still hold the same value because they are fungible. On the other hand, a non-fungible item is something which cannot be interchanged. They do not hold the same value. For example, a piece of artwork. A piece of artwork in the museum is something which got more value than a piece of artwork that I make in my house with a pen and a paper, right? They're both ink on paper, but they don't hold the same value because they are non-fungible. They cannot be exchanged with each other. This is just a very basic layman terms of explaining what the words fungible mean. And the tokenization, token is basically nothing but a digital certificate that sits on a decentralized system like blockchain, which is the platform on which all these Web3 technologies are based out of. So that's basically the heart and soul of what an NFT is. And to put it in application, an NFT is basically any kind of digital asset. It could be a picture, a video, a screenshot, or any kind of media that can be transferred with its intrinsic value hold. So it's basically I'm transferring a digital content to another person, or I'm purchasing it, or I'm selling it, which cannot be duplicated. I cannot just right-click and save as an image because that will not give me the metadata that comes associated with that image, which is only which lies only with the owner of that particular NFT.
Right, great. Thank you, Srijit. I'd like to go next with Johnny. So Johnny, it looks like the NFT is a very unique on its own, right? So what is the intrinsic value or the underlying utility offered by an NFT?
Yeah, so the traditional, there's lots of different types of NFTs to start with, and I think the buzz on the market to hit the ground running was what we call PFP, profile picture NFTs, and that was where Bored Ape Yacht Club have come from, CryptoPunks. So those are what people will use for their profile picture on their social media. And I think that has grown popularity with Twitter giving it the blue tick, where you can confirm that you are the owner of that. So where Sajid was talking about the metadata, you can now confirm that on your Twitter that you own that, and that is in your crypto wallet or your MetaMask, wherever you own that NFT. So what makes the utility in an NFT? And really, utility is what you get from owning that NFT. And the first and foremost, you get a community. So you get access to a community, and people offer you different parts to be in that community. So in a NFT community, you might get tips on what the upcoming crypto trend is, an NFT, from people inside your community. There are inside your utility, you may have options to get merchandise dropped to you and different aspects. So each different NFT project will have what we call a roadmap. And the roadmap will be what the founders are going to do inside their NFT to reward you for owning it. What are they going to give you for owning that NFT? A lot of it may be linked to status, linked to the community that you're in. We've seen a lot of live events come in NFT projects. So that is your traditional profile picture NFTs that will have a roadmap, have a community, and be driven by its community. So inside our own NFT, we talk to our community a lot to see how they want the roadmap to develop. And sometimes you have a plan as founders in your head, and your community might push you in a different direction. I think that's one of the unique parts about an NFT. When you own the NFT, you become a part or an investor in that project, and your voice is heard as on the community, whether it be on the social media channels or on Discord, which is a very popular way of communicating for NFT members. I think what we'll probably talk about a little bit later is where that utility can grow. And my personal opinion on NFTs is the real life utility that NFTs will give you. Those NFTs will go on and be in the market for a long time. The profile picture NFTs, some of them may last and continue, but a lot of them, they say there's a drop-off rate of around 96% of those projects that won't be here in 6 months' time or 12 months' time. So the NFT ecosystem is really interesting. I'm really excited to see where it will go in the future in terms of its development. And I think the webinar today will be one of the key developments for NFTs, as well as lots of other industries having an adoption on that NFT platform as well, and bringing the real life usage and real life utility to NFT holders.
Great. So it is clear that the NFT is unique on its own and it offers some specific utility, right? So if that is the case, then why do we see that some of the NFTs are worth millions of dollars?
So that's where the community is really powerful. And inside that community, you will have influencers with lots of followers that are growing that project. So everyone becomes an investor, and everyone is empowered to promote that project. Now, if you have a Premiership footballer or a professional singer inside your community, their reach to develop your NFT is a lot bigger than some other projects. So I think it can be hit and miss to which projects develop well and develop. But I think one of the key is the team behind it, an NFT. And if that team stays strong with their roadmap, is what we call doxed, that they are known by their community and they are named, because a lot of NFTs have anonymous teams where you don't know who is the founders. So I think that is a key part. And it's all about building your real credibility in the NFT world. And those people that have built really strong projects. You look at the Bored Ape Yacht Club, they've just done the drop with their metaverse land. And I'm really intrigued to see how everyone sees the metaverse working in the hotel industry later in the webinar. But that has been that's an extra utility. So as part of you owning a Bored Ape Yacht Club, you got dropped a part of land in their metaverse. So that is a utility that NFT provided their holders. So if you imagine the NFT as a key, and the key can open up lots of different options depending on the NFT team and the development team behind it. That key gives you an option for lots of different utilities, is what we call in the NFT world.
It certainly means that it is the perceived value of NFTs which is causing the increase in the price of all these NFTs trading at millions of dollars. Would it then mean that we might be in a bubble where the perceived value exceeds the intrinsic value?
This is true, and I think you will see that bubble bursting for many NFT projects. And I think what you will see is what we are calling the blue chip projects. So those projects that have been around the longest or have the strongest community, the best utility, the highest floor price. The floor price is the lowest price that an NFT is listed at. The biggest sales volume. Those projects, like your strong brands in the world, they will stay for the longest, and they are a store of value. They will become a store of value for people, as is Bitcoin a store of value in the crypto space. So it'd be very interesting to see in 5 years' time, if you was to look at the NFT top 10 trading NFTs, what they would be and what their utility would offer their members.
Great. Now that we have understood what is an NFT and what is the value offered by NFT Stewart, can you share with us how NFT can be used in the hotel industry, specifically in relation to the pilot project that you had at Radisson?
Yes, I'm glad you understand it, Rabia, because I've been working with Johnny now for close to 12 months and I still don't understand it fully, but he's been a great help to me personally. I think, Radisson Red as a brand and as a global brand and fast growing is about art, music and fashion. So we were normally about contemporary art, normal art, the physical art that you can touch and feel and put on a wall. And when I came across the NFT project, specifically the AbbaCrypto project that Johnny and the team put in place, it was exciting for me. First of all, to see how that community, I think, Johnny touched on it. What I've seen is with NFTs is there's a community and there is a utility that is driven by members. And that community is something as a hotel business, we always want to move forward and find different markets, different market segments and see how we can enhance, especially for the brand of Radisson Red, awareness of our hotel, but also of the brand. So to be involved in the NFT space for us has been very much about brand awareness within a community that we feel is a perfect fit for us. Radisson Red is a millennial, freedom within the framework, flexible brand, select serve, but upscale, and is definitely a business that fits with the NFT, crypto, metaverse community. So for us, it was exciting. We've had 3 great events now with Johnny as a team where we've met the physical community, and we've been able as a hotel and as a brand working closely with our head office in Brussels to try and understand how the NFT space, especially as a utility, could be of benefit to the hotel business. And I think not only is enhancing our community and enhancing our brand awareness, but physically, how can NFTs be a payment for a transaction, whether that be a room or a meal or a drink. So through a pilot project that we worked with the team of AbbaCrypto, we worked on that use of a utility via OpenSea that then could be purchased and used as a utility to purchase a room here at the hotel for an event that was held by the AbbaCrypto team, which was excellent. And it's been interesting for us just to see the physical growth of the awareness of the NFT metaverse crypto space, because I think the first event that we held with Johnny and his team physically in the hotel, I think had an attendance of about 40 or 50 people, and the last event that we had in the hotel was well over 150, close to 200 people in our ballroom. So we've seen just in the last 8 months the dramatic increase in awareness, but also the physical use and understanding of how NFTs are. For us, it was a great pilot. We learned a lot. I think what we found as the area we need to spend more time and understanding is the back end, which you're going to come on to in terms of how do we get that crypto money from the OpenSea space, and once it's paid, then into the hotel account, which we haven't 100% nailed as yet. But I think from our point of view, we've seen huge success in terms of being in a community and in a market. And also we found here in Dubai Digital Park and Dubai Silicon Oasis, we're trying to be, as we know, I mean, if those of you on the call who are in Dubai, we know that Silicon Oasis is a key startup and tech hub here in Dubai. And we want, I say we, as an owned asset of Silicon Oasis, we want Silicon Oasis to be in the future the gaming hub of the Middle East, especially of the UAE. So we're looking to really ensure that gamers and esports professionals will have an opportunity to be based and productive and essentially working and playing in our area. And that community is very much also in the crypto and NFT space. So for us, we are positioning ourselves for a market segment that is only going to grow as we see gamers in the early teens, and they're also interested in the NFT space, the crypto space. I have 2 teenagers myself who are keenly interested. So I think for us, it's been a brand positioning and an understanding of how NFTs and crypto can position us for the future.
Right, thank you. So in this pilot project, for example, who are your buyers for the NFTs that were listed on the OpenSea platform?
So the buyers that we had listed for the Abu Crypto event were attendees to the event. So the NFTs were the utility. So the attendees who were attending the event in the ballroom could then purchase a room to stay overnight here at Radisson Red. So that they were the buyers. So they get, not only do they get the room, but they also purchase and have the NFT as their own.
So Radisson not only listed the NFTs on the OpenSea platform, but it eventually sold the NFTs to these buyers who in return got a room night.
Correct. And the NFTs were bespoke Radisson Red NFTs specific for the event. So again, a great, unique, a unique selling point and a great brand awareness tool for us. And alongside the Abu Crypto team, it was a good, really great success.
Great. Johnny, I'd like to come to you next. In this project, once the NFTs were sold to the buyers and then they got the room nights in return of those NFTs, how did the transaction close in terms of the money flowing from the NFT marketplace, which was OpenSea in this case, to the bank account of Radisson?
So you transact in cryptocurrency to start with. So OpenSea will let you transact in Ethereum or Matic, which are 2 cryptocurrencies. Obviously, both of those cryptocurrencies are volatile, as we can see in the current markets. They go up and down. So in terms of the transaction, you would lose 3% of your initial transaction to OpenSea. That would be their transaction fee for their selling of the NFT. That would then be transacted. We would then collect that as Ethereum and transfer it across to one of our company wallets, where we would transfer that into a stable coin and then transfer it across to the hotel. So that's how we dealt with the transaction there. We obviously have a number of ideas how we would do that in the future, working with hotels to move that forward. So it's a really interesting way of bringing a real utility, because what you do find in a lot of hotels is they have some beautiful artwork all around their hotels. And for Stuart and his team, he utilized one of those great pieces of artwork that were bespokely made for his hotel, and that became the NFT itself. But in terms of the transaction, it would come across in a cryptocurrency. You then convert that into a stable coin and then transact that through into a bank account in the UAE and transfer that to the hotel. That's how we dealt with it, and it was very simple in a sort of 5-minute process for people that understand that technology.
So it's almost real time. It doesn't have a processing time and downtime to it.
No, and depending on the strategy of the hotel, it would depend on when they would cash the cryptocurrency. So they may prefer to hold Ethereum, to hold Matic for longer terms, and cash that out, because that is obviously going to go up and down depending on the state of the market. So that would all come down to hotel exposure to risk in terms of that market as well. So it's a really exciting opportunity there as well for hotels.
It's amazing. I mean, it's going to reduce the cash operating cycle for businesses if the money could be almost in cash in real time. Coming to you, Asif, could you share us your insight and experience from the risks that you see in this industry if businesses were to accept NFTs as a mode of payment, or eventually encash the transaction via crypto?
See over there, the important thing is that let's see that what's the volume going on nowadays for NFTs. NFT sale in 2021 was total about 25.5 billion, and it was only 95.1 million in 2020. And in 2022 till 10th March, it has already crossed the volume of 2021, which is 27 billion now, according to the reports given. And then because the NFTs, you know, that the problem is that NFTs have different forms, which is defined, whether it's an intangible asset or something like that. There are problems and challenges for risk associated with the payment, like legal and regulatory challenges, evaluation, the challenges, and intellectual property or IP rights are there. Then apart from that, there is the security, cyber security and fraud risks are there. Then for all the like cryptocurrencies and other things like that, and anti-money laundering, AML and CFT challenges are there. Then the risk is, they work on the smart contract risk and NFT maintenance risk are there. Then consideration of NFT as securities, environmental, social governance challenges are there. So these are some challenges which has been, for the payment, especially the NFT and cybercrime are there. The popularity have, increased, and there are some fake marketplaces also, plenty of that one, and it was sold and the stores look authentic because of the original logos and content. So when you are making the payments, these things you have to consider on this one. And then account in, so is in a net trust, you can say that there are plenty of challenges currently, especially the transferring of money or in cashing the NFTs. That's from.
So do you think the benefits of NFTs that we discussed in the beginning of the webinar outweigh all the risks that you have just mentioned?
See over there, you see that I have already in the start of my sentence, I have told that the volume are increasing tremendously. So even the risk, that there are things going on to mitigate this risk, and there are laws and regulations being implemented to mitigate this risk. So the things on the compliance sides also, and on the technology side, things are moving very fast to make it more secure all, and to make smooth the transactions for the NFTs.
Right. Thank you, Asif. It definitely seems that there are risks involved, and there is a regulatory framework around that, to which we'll come up to at a later stage. Coming to Srijit now, Stuart and Johnny mentioned about how they utilize the NFT technology and sold their room nights via NFT. Could you please share some other use cases from your experience that are there for the hospitality industry?
Sure. We are still in the very nascent stage of this technology, and people are still trying to figure out use cases in various industries. But one thing for sure is a huge impact of NFTs is on the marketing of any particular industry. So even for hospitality industries, they can make use of NFTs to leverage their marketing expenditure, marketing budgeting, and even to create a community, as we said before, around their brand, right? So that could involve in a hotel industry. to sell any kind of digital asset or digital content that they can. It could be music files, video content, avatar which is inside a game with the branding of that particular hotel, or any images or any pictures of an artwork that's displayed in the hotel, for example, as we mentioned before, or even it could be a virtual land that is being sold in the metaverse, right? So all these could be potential use cases that we could see coming from the hospitality industry. Apart from that, it also gives opportunities for hotels to collaborative work with artists, creative people, digital artists, musicians, to create bespoke content, bespoke pieces around it, and leverage NFT for that one. I believe there could be use cases wherein we can leverage the already NFT that a vendor or that a person has, or that a person holds, and maybe if he's coming or checking into a hotel, the hotel screens start displaying the NFTs that that person holds, right? For example, it matches with the MetaMask of that particular hotel guest. Also, the one use case could be the hotel key card could be an NFT, which the user or the guest can keep hold of for forever, and that will give him credibility as to being one of the original or one of the first-time users of that particular room, for example. Even membership, all these hotel chains have membership tiers for their hotel guests, and those memberships could be given in form of NFTs rather than just a membership card. So any piece of content that has to be that could be verified can be converted into an NFT, and that's where I feel a lot is on the offer, and it's only for us to figure out how well we can use this technology.
So we all know that most of the hotel companies, they have their loyalty and reward program, and they already offer you a membership. You hold a membership card, you go around the hotels, you take room nights, you spend in the F&B outlets. So if NFT was to replace this, what would then be the difference between an NFT becoming more like a membership card for the hotel guests versus the membership card that we already have? What is the additional value that it would bring?
I would feel that one aspect to it is the decentralized factor, which is the basis of all these NFTs that sits on a blockchain. So the authenticity factor of a like a club card or even a loyalty card would be more authentic because it sits on a decentralized system. So that proving the ownership of that would be very easy and very safe and secure, very difficult to duplicate. So I feel that's one where NFTs could be a huge boon in terms of giving out loyalty cards.
Right. Coming to Stuart, if NFTs were to eventually become successful, we all know that it's probably right now in its infancy stage, probably one of the early days when social media was introduced, and then a social media boom came. Probably we are in the early stage right now for NFTs, and eventually we might reach a time where we see a boom in the NFT space, and literally all hotels would have the NFTs of their own, and they might end up selling their room nights, F&B covers via NFTs. So do you think this could, in the long run, potentially displace the OTA business and reduce the dependency of hotels on OTAs?
I wish I had a crystal ball and I could tell you, Rabia, but I think to your first point, yeah, there's that we're all on a path at the minute, and we're at the beginning of the journey. It's an up and down journey as we've seen the last couple of years, and especially the last few weeks from a cryptocurrency point of view. But I think from the acceptance and the buy-in that we've seen in the last 3 or 4 months from major players, and the acceptance of really important Wall Street and the like, I think we can see that cryptocurrency is here to stay. NFTs are here to stay. It's about ironing out the issues as we move along. And I think from a hotel perspective, I'm sure that there will definitely be a place for NFT utilities and cryptocurrency. I think it will, like many hotels, be brand specific probably. I think, you know, even if you look within Radisson, there might be a certain number of brands that would be slower adopters, or those who have crypto or NFTs would maybe not be a certain brand guest. But I think from a Radisson Red perspective, or if you look at other brands in a similar space as us, such as W or Moxie or Hyde or 25 Hours, I think, you know, definitely those clients would be in the NFT or crypto community. So I think there's definitely space there in the future. The key thing, of course, from a hotel perspective, is to drive bookings directly to the hotel. So we want our guests to make their hotel bookings directly with us on our brand channels, for the obvious reasons that that's the best rate the guest will get is from us and not from the OTA or a third party. We guarantee that. But also, of course, there are less fees involved. So, you know, our OTAs who, you know, I think none of us could survive without the OTAs at the present time, but their fees have an impact on our bottom line. But of course, they ensure that our top line is strong at the present time. But I think with technology advancement, with the awareness and with the engagement and the buy-in of a global community into the NFT crypto space, that I'm sure that it will give hotels and brands and hotel companies the option and the incentive to further drive traffic directly to the brand web and to the hotel website, which is what we all want to do, and which, to your point, would then decrease the reliance on the OTAs. I think we're a while away from that. We spend, you know, over the last 5 years, I think every hotel company is trying to ensure that they drive more brand web traffic away from OTAs, but that's still a market acceptance. So, they think from a market and a customer perspective that the OTA is still the best way to go. And in many ways, for some customers, it is. They're able to quickly compare and contrast different rates for different hotels in a quick way. But I definitely see the NFT space as one that will enable hotels to stand out and be able to drive traffic. It's going to take more collaboration and partnership and understanding, but there's definitely an opportunity there as we move forward, I'm sure.
Great. If NFTs were to eventually boost direct business to the hotels, my next question, probably Johnny could take this. As a finance person, I would like to then know, what are the incremental costs associated with, first of all, developing the NFTs and then maintaining it?
Yeah, so that depends on what in-house specialists you have in terms of your tech team. In terms of developing an NFT, any piece of art can be developed into an NFT, and it depends on how intricate you want to develop that technology inside your NFT, what the image is, if that's going to be augmented. So the NFT itself can be designed from a simple piece of art that you have in the hotel to spending a year of development onto your NFTs, if that was going to go into a loyalty program and you were going to build in aspects like staking, where you could potentially get paid in reward points for that hotel by staking your NFT. So depending on the actual technology, the blockchain technology that you embed in your NFT will depend on its your ability to build that, either with your in-house tech team, which I'm sure a lot of hotels will start to bring a blockchain specialist onto their team, or whether they get a group of specialists in which can create this technology for them. So I think it really depends on what the usage is. What is going to be the utility of that NFT? Is it going to be for a membership scheme? Is it going to be for what is the hotel going to use it for? Interestingly, we all know Gary Vee and his sort of crypto and NFT experience, he's created an interesting concept, which is a membership to a restaurant. And I'm sure lots of hospitality and hotels will do that, where you can only go to that restaurant if you own the NFT. And if anyone else on this webinar would like to go to that restaurant, they would then have to borrow that NFT off someone else, and then they would have to pay interest for the night that they go to the restaurant with there. Obviously, that creates a lot of exclusivity around the NFTs, around the hotel, around the restaurant, and the F&B around there. So that could be a really interesting aspect in terms of how hotels use NFTs to create exclusivity. There might be a floor on the hotel which is only able to be accessed with NFTs. So you need to be a part of the club in the hotel and own that NFT to be able to access that hotel floor. And on that hotel floor, there's lots of different perks that you get. So these are the ways that I feel hotels will develop the use of NFTs. And when we go back to that utility word, what is the benefits of owning that NFT? I think the creative flair, and I'm sure Stuart would have lots of ideas he'd already probably got that he'd want to impart on his hotel. What would be that creativity which the GMs would put in, and how they would use NFTs? And that gives it the utility, that gives it the exclusivity. So that's going to be the interesting part, because I'm sure everyone will have a different take on how they use NFTs.
Right. So on the costing side, initially you mentioned that there's a 3% charge from the platform when you encash the NFTs. And then now we understand that there is a development cost involved where the business would engage a blockchain specialist to develop that NFT. And then on top of that, we have a lot of payment risk that Syed Asif mentioned earlier during our discussion. So Stuart, coming back to you, with all these costs and the risks involved, if we compare this with the cost of the business that we get from OTAs, and normally the commission rate varies from 15 to 20%, do you think the ROI on getting hotel room nights or business in general from NFTs in the long run could exceed OTA and potentially therefore displace the OTA business?
I think we'll never replace the OTA business. I think there'll always be OTA business because certain customers will always want to use those platforms. But I think to Johnny's point, and we've already mentioned it a few times, which is community and loyalty. So we know that the whether it's Radisson Rewards or Marriott Bonvoy or the other many global hotel loyalty programs, that we know that those loyal guests that are part of our programs spend up to 3 or 4 times more than a non-loyal guest, especially the ones that are highest, our most eligible guests. And it's also, we know that to maintain and grow those loyalty programs is cheaper than going out and finding new guests on a daily basis. So for us, where we could, to Johnny's point, enhance our rewards to our members would be, I think, probably the greatest benefit, and as such, then that drives the traffic directly to the hotel brand website or directly to the hotel, because our members are booking through their apps and the Radisson Rewards app and the like. So I think the cost is a difficult one to put a number on. I think it's going to be all about quantity and quality, of course, but I think once there's a certain level and a tipping point, then I'm sure that there could be definitely the opportunity to deliver unique rewards to our members that could possibly then remove some of that OTA reliance and drive further traffic to the hotel directly and drive Radisson Rewards or Hotel Rewards growth for membership.
Or it could also potentially happen that OTAs might end up buying a bulk of NFTs from hotel companies and then start selling it in the secondary market.
That could be. I think, like anything, the OTA business has changed dramatically since it first started. And again, I think a lot of hotel companies felt OTAs wouldn't be the success that they are, and they have been and still are. So I think also, I think we have to be aware of that case and that scenario. But in the end, I still think it's a space that hotels need to be in for the future. It's about the adoption and how hotels, as Johnny said, how they adopt it, whether the technology is in-house or outsourced. But I think it's a space that we need to be in and we should be in for the future.
Right. We're running out of time, but we have two very important questions to answer. So coming to you, Asif, can you tell us what is currently the accounting framework around NFTs? Would NFTs be recorded as intangible asset on the balance sheet, or could it be potentially recorded as a financial asset under IFRS 9 for the holder of NFT? How is it currently being presented in the financial statements?
See that that even the cryptocurrencies is very difficult now to value, because different jurisdictions have different laws and regulations, and IFRS and US GAAP works under that the local laws and regulation what they are allowing that one. In some places, majority of the cryptocurrencies are treated as securities, and now the taxation have already played a role on that one, that holding that the cryptocurrencies, if you have gain on that one, so annually they have been taxed on that one. NFTs are very new then, and it's little bit difficult in a different kind of, it's not like cryptocurrency. NFTs are digital proof of purchase for items such as art, baseball cards, or digital music, or can provide access to the services like live streaming concert. And NFTs are stored and trading on decentralized computers that's already been discussed on blockchain. So it's very difficult for them. So what it's depend on the NFTs accounted for the user. For the user perspective, the most consideration is identifying have been sold. For example, if the user is giving up the control over an asset previously controlled and recognized on its balance sheet, or it's merely giving a certain rights to use the intellectual property, brand, or other intangible assets. There are ways that if the asset it is treated as inventory, if it is held for sale for ordinary course of business, yes, it's inventory. Otherwise, it could be inventory. It should be on cost or market value. Token to be considered as security. If it is considered as security or NFTs, whatever is that, then they will come as a financial asset. If in all the other cases, they are treated as intangible asset. So it depends on how the questions answered, that how the user is perceiving it, that so it will be accounted according to that.
Right. So depending on the particular context of the NFT, it could be either an inventory under IS2, or an intangible asset, or probably a financial asset under IFRS 9. So in this particular example of Radisson, where we talked about that Radisson listed their NFTs on OpenSea platform, and then they sold it out in exchange for a room night. In that particular scenario, how would it be reported on the balance sheet?
See that it will be treated as inventory, because it's like what is the services providing. The hotel is selling its room services, so it will be treated same as that you are giving. So it should be treated as an inventory.
So Stuart, did you record your NFTs as inventory?
It's a good question. I believe we did, but I think so. But I'll go back and look at the pilot results. But if not, Asif, I'll take your kind advice and
Sure,
do that in the future.
Perfect. Our last question for the panel. Dubai has recently announced that it has established a new regulator to regulate virtual assets, including cryptos and NFT, and it has recently issued the new law around that as well. So Asif, would you be able to share some insights for this new law? What does it basically cover?
See, over there, for the cryptos and NFTs, all these things, if the regulations are not there, it's difficult to account for them and the compliance and to monitor that. On 28th of February 2020, the Emirates of Dubai issued a Law 4 of regulating virtual asset in the Emirates of Dubai. That's called Dubai Virtual Asset Regulation, or DVAR. The key features I will be telling you, because the time is short, the establishment of that, the VA, and there is an authority called Dubai Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, which is VARA. It's an independent public entity that is affiliated with the Dubai World Trade Center Authority, DWTCA. The VAR is responsible for providing full range of services in relation to the virtual asset in coordination with the UAE Central Bank and Security and Commodity Authority, including licensing, regulating of entities carrying on activities in the virtual asset space, developing strategic plans and policies surrounding virtual asset activities, regulating and supervising issue and offering of virtual assets and tokens, and prescribing regulation in relation to the personal data protection, KYC and AML. And apart from that one, the activities subject to the regulation like virtual asset platform operation and management services, settlement and custody procedures, services, exchange between the virtual asset and currencies. So these all things will come. It's a long list. So because of shortage of time, I'm just telling that what are the key points which is going to happen in these authorities in offering and trading of virtual tokens, note, and then virtual asset custody and virtual asset transfer services.
Right. I mean, that's pretty extensive and comprehensive. It seems that we might end up adding a headcount in our business that will ensure compliance for NFTs and accounting for that. Great. Thank you very much. We have only 2 minutes left to conclude this webinar. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat box. I only have one question. I think, Johnny, you could take it. We have a question from the audience that what are the different marketplaces for NFT where the NFTs could be listed other than OpenSea?
So that's a really interesting. There's lots of different marketplaces, and there's more marketplaces coming up as the space develops. Obviously, your main marketplaces for Ethereum and Matic based is OpenSea. You've got different cryptocurrencies. Solana has Sol Art. And what I can see happening in the hospitality industry is chains actually make their own marketplaces. So Radisson, Marriott, these chains will actually create a market space for their own NFTs, which will bring people into their main websites, and then you'll be able to buy them. So I can see that as an infrastructure change for some of the hotel chains. But at the minute, depending on what assets you're buying, there are different marketplaces out there. So if you're buying a more art-based NFT, there are, sort of different marketplaces for that. If you're buying traditional NFTs, then you would go to OpenSea. So there's too many to talk about, but for me, it depends on what type of NFT you're buying. And I think the hotel and the hospitality industry will probably end up having a mixture of some of those large-based trusted marketplaces, plus some of their own bespoke places as well. And I think a lot of it comes down to trust. Everyone sees OpenSea, and it's a trusted resource. So they would go to that because the trust is there. And I think this will be one of the areas. I know Asif talked about it in terms of trust and in terms of some of the rogue websites that are out there and rug pulls, and there's lots of things in there. So I think trust and marketplace familiarity will be key parts there.
All right, looks like we have a lot.
I just want to add, I just want to add one thing that we have already launched Maraba DeFi, which is listed on DeFi exchange, and you can list their NFTs there also. Sorry, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. With this, we conclude our webinar for today. Thank you for sharing your insights on this topic. As I said in the beginning, it's a vast topic. We can go on and on that. I hope we were able to cover important issues around the subject. If you still need any further assistance or guidance or consultancy over developing NFTs for your business, please feel free to reach out. The contact details of our company could be seen on your screen right now. Please email your queries related to the topic or any other question that you may have to info@atsaconsultants.com, and one of our advisors will be pleased to get back to you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stuart, Srijit, Johnny, and Asif for joining the session today.